What happened to the FIFA soundtrack is a question that will pop up here and there if you spend enough time in FIFA-related forums. People complain, among other things, about the lack of those distinct FIFA songs everyone loved, longing from the days before microtransactions and iconic soundtracks like the one from 2007 or the amazing run they had from 2013 to 2017. Well, after looking at the Spotify data of all 910 songs featured in every FIFA soundtrack, I'm not only here to answer that question, but also to create my own FIFA song using this exact data. So join me as we chronicle the rise and fall of the FIFA song. The very first edition of the FIFA, or EAFC game as we know it nowadays, was released in 1993 under the name FIFA International Soccer on the Sega Mega Drive Genesis before being ported to other platforms over the years. FIFA Road to 98 World Cup was the first game to feature a soundtrack with licensed music that included Blur's legendary song Song 2. Rumor has it that during the game's development, Sean Radcliffe, who became head of esports Europe, phoned Blur just as they were about to go on a stage in Australia and asked if EA could feature Song 2 in the game. During the conversation with the band's management, Damon Albarn grabbed the phone and said to Radcliffe, "We got more money that we know what to do with, but what we can't get is tickets for the World Cup final." EA secured Blur's tickets to the final and, in return, obtained the rights to what many consider the first iconic FIFA song. EA, of course, appointed a team to replicate the success of their first foray into soundtrack territory, which posed a crucial question: what should this soundtrack be? Should it be a compilation of the most popular tunes of the time, aiming to appeal to as broad of an audience as possible, or a platform to discover new upcoming artists? While we now know that the latter won and that it was the right decision in the long run, this wasn't always the case. For years, whenever we would announce the bands that were going on FIFA, the most common feedback from users was, "I've never heard a single one of these bands," and we're like, well, that's the point, says Sivel Petrus, the senior music supervisor at EA. From then on, the team behind the soundtrack made decisions under the idea that if a song had already made it to the radio, it was too late to include it in that year's soundtrack. One of the persons appointed to this FIFA soundtrack team was Steve Schnur, now president of EA Music, who joined EA in 2001. Schnur was faced with another crucial question: how should FIFA sound? Schnur knew that music has the ability to define a sport, but he and his team also felt that football had sounded the same for a very long time. Specifically, it was stuck in the 80s, with most bands trying and failing to recreate the sound and success of iconic groups like AC/DC, Queen, and Guns N' Roses. Or so I'm told. I wasn't really around back then. As Schnur puts it, Queen are all day long one of the greatest bands of all time, but football doesn't always have to sound like we're the champions. Sports don't always need to sound like Guns N' Roses. We decided to build on that from day one. We wanted the music to sound like a stadium. We wanted football to sound like the Strokes. Once the team decided on what the soundtrack should sound like, the team set on a quest to find the songs that would fulfill their visions, over and over again. Due to the huge exposure a game like FIFA represents, many artists have tried to create their own FIFA songs, in an attempt to be featured at the soundtrack. However, in Schnur's own words, when bands write songs for FIFA, I think that's where maybe they go wrong, because they make presumptions and our definition of what a FIFA song sounds like is forever changing." End quote. In many ways, making a FIFA song is like catching lightning in a bottle. You can't manufacture that feeling. Or can you? Stick till the end to find out. FIFA players rarely ever agree on anything and love to argue about basically nothing. However, ask a group of them about their favorite FIFA song and they'll likely name a track from this specific period of time. I know this because someone already asked this exact question in the FIFA careers subreddit. User LuckyPerspective613 made this post posing the following question: what is the best FIFA song ever? Gathering comments from the post, he was able to make a tournament consisting of 192 songs proposed by the community. If we take a look at the round of 16's bracket, we can find the usual suspects: Kids by MGMT, On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons, Love Me Again by John Newman, and The Knights by Avicii made it to the final four, with The Knights being picked by the community as their favorite FIFA song. The bracket also included old fan favorites like Block's Party Helicopter, Song 2 by Blur, Fatboy Slim's Rockefeller Skank, and Jerk It Out by Caesars. I personally think it's a crime. Songs like Kasabian's Clubfoot and my favorite Brazil by Santa Les Amis were not featured in the list, but what can I say? Examining the bracket distribution, we see that the 2015 and 2016 dominate with 9 entries each, followed by the 2017 soundtrack with 8, and the 2013 and 2014 soundtracks with 6 each. This period accounts for 38 entries representing 60% of the bracket. So, what it is about this period of time that makes the soundtrack so universally loved by both old heads and newer players? Well, let's find out. With the help of this playlist, which contains every song featuring the soundtracks from the original 1998 FIFA to the present and the Spotify API, I gather all the data and audio features of each track. Using this data, we can begin to visualize what made this period of time so special. If we analyze the most popular genres during this period of time, we can see that the characteristic sound in this era mainly comes from 2 genres, modern rock and something called indie-tronica. Interestingly, these 2 genres account for around 20% of the total genres throughout the soundtracks, with indie-tronica being the most prominent one. Something important to note here is that songs can have multiple genres, so this generates some overlap. According to Musicalist, indie-tronica blends indie rock with electronic music, characterized by the use of synthesizers, drum machines, and other electronic instruments. Some examples of indie-tronica artists are Glass Animals, MGMT, Foster the People, Tudor Cinema Club, Al J, and Crystal Castles, among others. The genre made its first appearance in the 2006 FIFA soundtrack with the songs Train by Goldfrapp, Follow My Ruin by Roixipop, Daft Punk is Playing at My House by LCD Sound System, and fan favorite Helicopter by Block Party being the #1 genre in that year. In fact, indie-tronica remained a top 10 genre for 9 consecutive years until 2015, reclaiming the #2 spot in 2016. A similar trend emerges with modern rock, which, according to Musicalist, is a broad term encompassing various guitar-based music styles that emerged in the late 1990s, including classic rock and punk. The genre first appeared in the FIFA 2002 soundtrack with this song by Gorillaz, and made sporadic appearances here and there during the mid-2000s, eventually making it back to the top 10 in 2009 with 5 songs that included The Cooks, Always Where I Needed to Be, Foles, Olympic Airways, Kasabian's Fast Fuse, The Fratellis' Tell Me a Lie, and MGMT's Kids, which is also listed as an indie-tronica song. Notably, 2011 marked the first year both modern rock and indie-tronica secured the top 2 spots, maintaining their dominance until 2019, when they dropped to 5th and 6th place respectively. So, did the decline of this genre signal the end of the iconic FIFA song? Well, not exactly. Both genres continued to feature prominently in the soundtracks after 2020, with modern rock even reclaiming the top spot in 2021 and indie-tronica experiencing a resurgence in 2023 with 8 songs reaching #1. But then what has changed? The most obvious answer lies in the shifting genre landscape. While modern rock and indie-tronica remain essential components of the soundtracks, genres like shimmer pop and Metropolis, which brought us songs like On Our Way, Love Natural, Dreaming, and Crystals, have disappeared. Another aspect to take into consideration is how genres themselves have changed through time, which we can see by looking at the average audio features of the tracks. Here's a quick rundown of what each one of these metrics means. Danceability describes how suitable a track is for dancing on a scale from 1 to 10, based on a combination of musical elements including tempo, rhythm stability, beat strength, and overall regularity. Energy is a measure from 0 to 1 and represents a perceptual measure of intensity. Typically, energetic tracks feel fast, loud, and noisy. You don't really need data to know the difference over time. You can just grab any song from the 2012-2013 list and compare it to one of the indie-tronica songs from 2023. Although Spotify classifies them as the same genre, they don't feel alike. This is where data comes in handy to help us visualize the changes in sound. Between 2012 and 2017, indie-tronica's average danceability ranged from 0.55 to 0.60, aligning it with indie pop and rock and roll's median values, producing the characteristic guitar-based sound often associated with the FIFA genre. However, from 2018 onward, the average danceability exceeded 0.6, shifting closer to progressive house, EDM, and house genres' median danceability. Additionally, the genre's energy peaked in 2012, at nearly 0.90 but declined to 0.75 by 2018. Even in 2023, when Indietronica experienced a resurgence, its average energy remained around 0.77. To create my own FIFA song, which you can find at the end of the video, I used the average audio feature values from this period of time as a prompt in the Suno app, demonstrating that these values define the quintessential FIFA sound. Similarly, comparing modern rock songs from the 2012-2013 playlist to those from 2021, the last year of significant representation of the genre, reveals a gradual decline in average energy following its 2012 peak. Notably, the genre became increasingly more danceable over the years. So, if the soundtrack creators had crafted such an iconic and universally loved sound, why change it? Well, because change is inevitable. As DJ Patinjad writes in the article The Ever-Evolving Anatomy of a FIFA Soundtrack, after a while, the FIFA brain pool began to realize that they were falling into exactly the same trap they initially tried to subvert. The soundtracks were becoming dependent on a specific type of musician, so they set out to remedy this, drawing on a far more wide-ranging spectrum of musical influences." End quote. It happened in the late 90s when FIFA could no longer sound like Queen or AC/DC. It happened in the late 2000s when FIFA could no longer sound like Sabian, Blur or LCD Sound System. And it happened in the late 2010s when FIFA could no longer sound like Avicii, Imagine Dragons or Foster the People. Even Steve Schnurr admits the team has always focused on people aged 12 to 24 because it's the time that music is more impactful to you. People act like you could give an objective / not nostalgia based answer as to which song is the best FIFA song, but tend to forget that music has the power to involuntarily trigger memories. As Tiffany Jenkins beautifully puts it in this BBC article, memories stimulated by music often come from particular times in our lives. Classic hits take us back to our teenage years and or 20s much more than songs of later years. Psychologists have called it the reminiscent bump. It may work this way because it's an especially important and exciting time in our lives, when we are experiencing things for the first time and when we became independent. Everything is new and meaningful. Later, life becomes a bit of a blur." End quote. But change is a good thing. The intention of the soundtrack has and always will be to invite players to discover new genres and artists. And even if you don't like the sound of these soundtracks, there are plenty of artists that grew with these soundtracks and create music inspiring that iconic FIFA sound that we all love. You just gotta find them. The FIFA song is dead. Long live the FIFA song. You can find the data and Jupyter notebooks used for this project in case you wanna go more in-depth on the number side of things in my Kaggle profile. Before I go, I'll leave you with the FIFA song I created using the Spotify data and the Suno AI. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.
City lights shining bright all day. Feel the beat in a feet. Electric nights can't stay away. Heartbeat rush, oh, it's wild. Lost in time, free as child. Neon glow, let's collide. Dance for magic side by side. Dance with me, oh, oh, oh. Feel the rhythm, let it show. Electric nights, lost in flow. Move your body, go, 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 go. Moonlight high, stars align. Sparks ignite, love in mind. Feel the pulse, sync to time. Magic moments intertwined. Go, go, go. Hands up high, touch the sky. Don't be shy, let's fly. Beat drops hard, can't deny. Electric nights, you and I. Dance with me, oh, oh, oh.